Welcome to Reagan and Kelsey's tutorial on using the CBR in a math classroom. The CBR is a motion detector that can be connected to a calculator. CBRs are beneficial in math classrooms because they collect data about the motion that takes place in front of the CBR and records it both numerically and graphically. This motion data allows students to explore concepts such as slope, velocity, and acceleration. Before beginning the activity, you'll need a CBR, a TI calculator, and a calculator to CBR cord. If you wish to take a screenshot, you will also need a USB cord and a computer.
When first starting to do your activity, you need to make sure you connect your calculator to your CBR using the calculator to CBR cord. First, plug in one end to your calculator at the top. Make sure to press in firmly so it gets a good connection, and do the same thing with your CBR on the side. Next, we'll demonstrate how to transfer the information from the CBR to the calculator. Before beginning, you have to make sure you open up your Ranger program so that it will effectively do what you want. Once you've turned on your calculator, press the Apps menu. From there, press the number 6, which will take you to the CBR menu. And then press Enter from the main screen. And we want the Ranger program, so press number 3. And then Enter. And once this menu comes up, we're going to press Applications so we can tell the calculator which activity exactly it is that we're doing. So press number 3. And then based off the activity you're doing, it'll tell you which one you want to use of units, meters, or feet. For this one, we're going to use meters, so I'll press the number 1. For this activity, we are going to be doing distance match. So once again, I'll press number 1. And we are all set up and ready to go to start our activity. From this screen on the calculator, you want to press Enter. So as soon as I press Enter, Reagan will begin walking to match this graph. Once the taking has stopped, the graph is done and we compare. As we see, she did a very good job on this. And we press Enter. From this screen, we can once again try to match the same graph, or we can go ahead and do a new graph.
Now that we have given you an explanation of how to use the CBR, we'll discuss what is going on in the graph that you are trying to match. Here we have 2 examples of graphs that you may see on your Match the Graph application. On the vertical axis, we have distance from the CBR. And on the horizontal axis, we have time in seconds from the time that the CBR started recording data. So when the slope is positive, that means that the distance from the CBR is increasing. So as time is going on, we are getting further from the CBR. And when the slope is negative, we are starting out further from the CBR and walking closer towards it. We can also have different slopes. Some graphs will be steeper than others. In this graph, we have a fairly steep positive slope. However, in this graph, where the slope is increasing slower. So when we have a steep positive slope, we're walking away from the CBR fairly quickly. However, when the slope is less steep, we're walking away from the CBR fairly slow. The same is also true for when the slope is negative. Here we were walking towards the CBR fairly quickly, as you can tell because the slope is steep. We can also have areas where the slope is 0, such as these 2 points. Here we see that the slope is neither increasing nor decreasing, so we're staying still. So in this graph, we were standing 5 meters away from the CBR for about 4 seconds. In this graph, we are standing about 3 meters away from the CBR for about 3 seconds also.
Now that we have actually completed an example on how to do a match the graph activity, we will demonstrate how exactly it is you can take a screenshot of this picture on your computer. The purpose of a screenshot is to retain for your information and also for your students to show you multiple examples they've done. So what you want to do is before unplugging this cord, you want to take your calculator to computer cord and plug that in, the smaller end first into your calculator, the USB into your computer, and then go ahead and disconnect the cord from the calculator that's connected to the CBR. From here, we want to go into, on your computer, your TI Connect X link. Once you click that, you get a screen similar to the one I'm showing, and you want to double click on TI Device Explorer. From here, it'll show up which device is showing connected to your computer. So right now, the TI-84 Plus Silver Edition is showing up, which is exactly the calculator we've been using. You want to do a screen capture of your graph that you've done. So all you need to do is click Screen Capture, and your graph should come up. And there you have it. And you can make the screen larger so you can see it.
There are also many other applications that are available on the CBR Ranger application. If we go to Applications and choose Meters, we have Distance Match, Velocity Match, and Ball Bounce. The distance match is what we were doing before, where we matched a graph according to our distance from the CBR. However, we also have the option to do velocity match. This allows us to track the velocity at which we are moving in front of the CBR. There's also a ball bounce application. For this application, you can bounce a ball and track its distance from the CBR. It may be easier for this application to remove the CBR from the calculator. Then you can press the trigger button to begin recording the CBR, to begin recording the ball bounce. If you go back to the main menu, you also have the option to track your motion without trying to match a graph. You can go to Setup Sample number 1, and then go up to Start Now. When you press Enter, all you have to do is point the CBR at the object you are trying to record. You press the trigger button on the CBR and it will record your motion. Now we've explained how to use the CBR in your math classroom to teach students concepts such as slope, velocity, and acceleration.